Hi, this is Kathy from Gadget Stop 321, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at a fountain pen that my daughter got for me recently when she visited China with her husband and mother-in-law. Now, this pen came shrink wrapped in this nice gift box, and I used Google Translate, and this says Forbidden City Stationery. And I asked her if she got it at, where she got it, whether it was at a stationery shop or a gift shop. And she said it was at a gift shop in Tiananmen Square. And when I opened it up, this pen is so beautiful. It came in a nice little gift set. This is directions for filling the fountain pen. And I can't remember if I tried Google Translate on that. It's just the warranty card. It also came with a bottle of ink, and my daughter thought this was going to be blue ink, but it's black. And it's a pretty bottle. It's a good amount of ink, 45 milliliters, and I think I did Google Translate on that, and that just says black, maybe black ink. I did a writing sample and a water test, and I lost the footage of it, but I can show you the results of the water resistance test. So it's got some water resistance. It's not totally waterproof, but definitely just a little bit lifts and kind of smears, but very legible. And when I compared it to the water resistance test of my other black inks, it looks very similar in the tone of the black and the way it behaves to Sailor Gentle Black. So if I do use this ink, I'll use it in pens that I use Sailor Gentle Black, like really fine nibs. This might go good with my Pilot Vanishing Point with that extra fine nib that I bought it with. That would be nice because it's a very watery ink. It felt very watery and maybe prone to feathering, possibly on some types of paper. Now to the pen. When I first saw it, it kind of made me think of porcelain, and it reminded me of a video I saw. Oh, it's been years ago now, from Fountain Pen Journey. He had a pen that was kind of like this color white, and it had blue designs on it. It looked like porcelain china. And I was wondering, is this a porcelain pen? So I did some searching online for a porcelain fountain pen, and I didn't get anything. And judging by the weight of this, I would say it's a lacquer-covered brass pen. It has a nice, comfortable weight to it. I did Google Translate on this little red bit here. And let me see, what did it say? Brush up the mountains and rivers. And it took me a little searching. I didn't know what that meant, and I'm still not sure exactly what that means, but I did find out that this pen, the design on it, is inspired by the work of art. It's the painting A Thousand Miles of Rivers and Mountains, which was painted by the artist Wang Shimong when he was only 18 years old. And it's a impressive painting. It's a little over 20 inches tall and 39 feet wide. I believe I read that it was painted on silk. It's his only surviving artwork. He painted it when he was 18 years old, and he died young, I think at the age of 23. And he lived in the 12th century, or he painted this in the 12th century. Another thing I noticed is the gold outlines in the design kind of reminded me of the Cross Wonderlust. Now, I've never used a Cross Wonderlust, but just looking at pictures in it, I think the lines in those pens are engraved and then filled in with some gold. This is just, I don't know how it's applied. Maybe a screen printing or something like that. It's just very smooth. There's no texture to it. But I I really like the colors. It's got like a bluish purple, a blurply color, then some true blue, some teals, some um, yellowish greens, kind of reminds me of chiku ren. So there's a lot of, you've got a lot of choices of inks you can use in this pen that would really look good. I also noticed the clip. It looks a lot like the clip on my sister's custom pen that she got from Mike Green. I like this design and it really looks good with the shape of this pen. It's it's a nice looking pen. It's got a gold cap band that has that same design and the same writing from the lid of the box, Forbidden City Stationery. And it's a threaded cap. It's got a metal section, but it's gold plated, and that seems to be nice and grippy for me. The metal sections, if they are chrome or anodized aluminum, tend to be very slippery. Now, the nib is also gold plated, but the nib also has that same design from the box and probably says Forbidden City Stationery. It's kind of small, but I tend to think it's that it says the same thing from the box. And the design on the nib kind of reminds me of the scroll work that's on Pelican nibs. I can't find anywhere where it says what the line width is, but let's do a writing sample. Now, I didn't ink it up with the black. I did do that writing sample. I dipped it in the black ink, but the minute I saw the colors in this pen, I thought of Iroshizuku as a gal. So that's what I have this inked up with. I'm going to go ahead and show you before I do the writing sample. Let me get this stuff out of the way. It did come with a converter. And the converter kind of reminds me of, it's got the little piston knob that looks like Lamy, but it's unbranded. It looks almost like a Jinhao converter. So I don't know if this pen is possibly made by Jinhao or if the Jinhao converters are kind of like the Schmidt converters in the Western world. They're just kind of a third party product that everybody uses in their pens. But let me grab some paper and I'll do a writing sample. Okay, this is probably why I couldn't get it to focus on the nib. I had it on wide angle so I could fit the box in the picture. But there's the nib. There's the design. And I tend to think it's got a plastic feed. I tend to think this is a medium nib. And you'll see when I do the writing sample. My favorite medium nibs have always been Sailor and Platinum. And recently I've enjoyed the Schmidt medium nib on my Visconti Mirage. But they all have kind of just a slight chalky feel to them, where this nib, it's not glassy smooth, which I tend to not like in my medium nibs, that is. This is like a buttery smoothness. It's really pleasant. And the reverse writing goes from I would call this, they're generally referred to as Japanese medium, and this would go, I might call that an extra fine or fine, but it's nice and smooth. It feels almost like I'm writing with my Pilot Kakuno, which is very pleasant for an extra fine nib. And I haven't smoothed the regular writing or the reverse writing. It came like this. This is just a very well-tuned nib. It's been a joy to write with. I've been writing with it since I got it from her. Now I had this pen and my TWSBI VAC 700 inked up at the same time. So it took me quite a while to go through both of those pens, but I've almost finished a full fill of this, and it is just so pleasant. The section fits me nicely. Now the threads, I wouldn't call them sharp, maybe medium sharpness, but the way my hand fits on them, it doesn't dig in. Maybe the threads aren't what I'm feeling is sharp. It might be the step, but the step, even with my hands resting on it, is not uncomfortable. Now, if you held farther back, maybe, I don't know, my finger here is kind of resting on that. It's not bad, but I held a little bit farther up. This has just been a really enjoyable pen to write with. I'm curious, though, if anybody is familiar with this Forbidden City Stationery, or if it's just a branding that a stationery shop has put on something like a Jen Howe or some other, maybe a moon. I don't know if this would be a Moon Man. I lean more toward, with it having the converter that it did, being a Jen Howe. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Chinese pens other than I've watched a lot of Pen BBS videos. So I'd be curious to learn more about this. Okay, let me zoom back out one more time and see how it posts. Now the inside, the liner, it has a plastic liner and the threads in there. The threads are in the liner. So when you post it, that is plastic. And it posts really securely. For me, it's on the verge of being back weighted. The balance is just right up above the crook of my hand. So it's not uncomfortable, but I prefer to write with it unposted. But if your hands were just slightly larger than mine, this would be really well balanced. I always like pens where the center of gravity, the weight of it just pushes right down into that crook of my hand. But if I had to use it like this for a short amount of writing, it wouldn't be uncomfortable. All right, this is a pen that I didn't go out seeking after. I've been really content with the pens I have at the moment. I've been watching a lot of currently inked videos from different pen YouTubers, and the thing I like about currently inked videos are, for some reason, I don't know what the psychology behind it is, those don't make me want to go out and get a new pen. They make me want to run up to my study and start playing around with my pens and ink. Now, when I watch reviews of like one specific pen, a lot of times that'll make me start wanting a new pen. But for now, I've been really content with my pens. And like I said, this was my newest pen, and I wasn't seeking a pen at the time. I was just pleasantly surprised. But if you have any information about Forbidden City Stationery or pens like this one or gift shop pens, from China? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up.